Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, noticed a really strange foul smell coming from my pond. It's only about a quarter of an acre pond, it's real small. And noticed a bunch of my bluegill and a couple of my bass were floating on the top, just dead as 4 o'clock. I guess I could have said dead as a mackerel, or cold as a mackerel, but they're not mackerel. That's your joke of the day. Anyway, looking to make a aerator or a fountain for that pond. I did some research on that thing, and it said a lot of the reason why those ponds do that is algae bloom or a chemical, or I guess a shallow pond will do it. But anyway, I guess when you get a big algae bloom like that, it really sucks a lot of the oxygen out of the water. And of course your fish will subsequently suffocate. So trying to make this homemade aeration for my pond, and I looked at a couple of other videos, pretty interesting, but I thought I'd kind of do one of my own here to kind of add some improvements, or you may not think they're improvements, but I think they are. Anyway, what I did, I went to our local hardware store, or home store here, and bought a bucket, 5-gallon bucket, and drilled a bunch of 3/4 inch holes up and down the sides, all the way around, as you can see. Okay, and they don't really have to be actually perfectly in line, as long as water can get in there. Then what I did to kind of add to this, I was worried about this bucket after I put my sump pump in here. Kind of concerned about buoyancy, wind, rocking this thing back and forth. And I thought, man, you know what, there's got to be some kind of way to help hold this thing down. And what I did, I bought a paver, just a regular old $3 paver, and I made an X in it, found the center. And in addition to drilling a 1/2 inch hole in the bottom of the bucket, you really can't see it, but maybe you can, I drilled a 1/2 inch hole right in the center there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to run a carriage bolt, right here. Okay. And a big fat washer and a nut. And I'm actually going to secure the bucket to the paver. Now you're probably saying, well, gee, won't that nut be in the way? Well, if you do this right, you want the head of the bolt in the bottom of the bucket. That's why you want to use a carriage bolt. Anyway, and then I thought, well, what if I ever need to pull this thing up out of the water? Well, you sure as hell don't want to use the handle, because with this rock and the weight of the pump, you're probably going to tear that handle off there. So what I did, I drilled a couple more 1/2 inch holes in this paver, and I don't know if you can see it. I attached washers, or a washer and a big knot on either side of that thing. And what I'm going to do, I made some trucker's knots right here, and I'm going to put one main line, like where my index finger is, right through there. That way I can pull this whole thing up out of the pond if I have to, without putting any stress on the bucket. Okay. The other thing, and I don't know if you want to do this or not, I want to do it, is I made a homemade filter. And this stuff, I bought this at Lowe's, and this is just Filtrete custom fit air cleaning filter, manufactured by the 3M Corporation, trimmed to fit. I think I got a little piece of this laying here. Right here it is. Really not much to it. It's going to allow the water to leach through there and get into the pump, but it's also going to filter out any garbage that pump's going to try to suck up in there. It's not going to be 100%, so you know, I don't want to hear anything about, oh gee man, yeah, that's going to really suck when that thing, yeah, you're still going to get dirt in that. Well, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get dirt in it, but it's going to help. And what I did, I had a piece of this mesh wire laying around. I think I got this, my son-in-law gave it to me or something a couple years ago. And I cut it to height and to diameter to fit right inside the bucket. Got to kind of work with it to get it in there. That's how it fits. Okay, and your pump's going to sit right in the middle of all that. That way when the pump's running, any dirty water that gets drawn in from the outside is going to filter through that filter through the holes and hopefully give that pump a little bit more life. So I've gotten that far with it. The next thing I'm going to work on is going to be my sprinkler head. And what I did, I'm using 1.5 PVC pipe, which is right here on the back of the old tractor here. And of course an 1.5 threaded cap. And the reason I want to use this threaded cap is this piece is going to go on the end of my pipe, and then once I get my holes drilled in this is going to be my sprinkler head. I'm going to be able to just screw this on. I know you can't see this real well because I'm trying to do this by myself, guys, so kind of bear with me here. That way you can unthread that and thread it. And if you want to change your pattern of your spray, these things are dirt cheap. So I got an extra one here. If I don't like this pattern, I can make another pattern. Just unscrew it off of here. That way you're not glued, you're not committed to one design. And what I did to get a good uniform spray pattern, I just came up off the sides of this thing where these factory notches are, these grips, and marked it with a Sharpie. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to drill holes here at an angle so that water doesn't go straight up, but it goes out. The one here in the center is going to be a little bit bigger, and it will go straight up. Hi, Coco. I'm glad you come in to see me, girl. So I'm not going to share the boredom of drilling these holes with you. I'm going to go ahead and pause this and get these drilled. Okay, so just got done drilling that, and I don't know how well you can see this. It's not real perfect, but it's not real bad, I guess. It'll work. Hey, it's got to be cheaper than buying a manufactured one at the store, right? Notice that the hole in the center of the cap is just a hair bigger than the outer ones. And when you do this, if you want, this one is straight in, and these are all drilled at an angle, so the fountain kind of sprays out a little bit. I think I have like 60 cents or something, or 40 cents or 70 cents or something in that thing. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pause this again. I just wanted to show you this so far, this cap. I'm going to go ahead and try to get some things manufactured up on this and fab together, and I will get back with you here in a few minutes. Okay, so here's what I've got done so far since I paused this last. Something I probably should have showed you, and I neglected to do so. You're going to have an outlet for your power cable. And I just cut a little square out of my screen mesh, left that filter media just around the cord there. That's all you got to do. That'll be fine. And I want this coming out of the bottom instead of up here on the top somewhere. I think that's a little bit safer down here. The other thing I did, and I need to show you this too, I went ahead and I measured where the outlet for my pipe's going to be coming up out of the bucket, or off the pump through the bucket lid, I should say. That pump sits in there nice. See that? Pretty cool, huh? The other thing, the float switch, right here. If you notice, there's no way in the world that thing's going to be able to float inside that bucket. When you run out of water, the switch is off, it shuts the pump off. When this thing floats, here it come on. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to secure the float switch in an upright position so it's on all the time. Otherwise, this thing will not work. So let me go ahead and grab some zip ties, and we'll go ahead and tie that thing up, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, we're back. I pulled this thing out of the bucket so you could see it a little bit better. What I've done is taken some cable ties. The first thing that I did was secured the power cord so it's kind of out of the way. And then I put two, one around the top of the standpipe, around the back of the float switch, and it's pretty tight, it's not going to go anywhere. And then I put another one under the bottom of the switch and around the standpipe to keep that thing from falling. Okay, as you can see, I've got the standpipe in position. I've got it glued in. Got this ready to go for the next piece. It's going to go through the lid down into the pump. And by the way, you're going to have some PVC cleaner and some cement to do this job. So back in a few. Alright, so here's the next thing I got done, and I'm getting ready to head to the pond here in just a few minutes. I got my two retrieval lines hooked up with this small shackle, as you can see. They're pulling nice and even on the bucket. And what I'm going to do is, I've got my retrieval line here. Shoot. Snap swivel. There goes the lid. And we're just going to snap that onto there like that. And that's what's going to allow me to pull this up out of the water if we ever have to. See, it snaps right on there. So I'm going to head back to the pond, and hopefully we can get this guy going in the next few minutes. Just kind of bear with me.